Hello, I'm Brooks Martin, and welcome to part 6 of the Sasquatch Build. Um, beautiful thing about Aspire is there's so many different ways you can possibly build a model. I'll show you my approach to hopefully we can complete this guy today, but we'll probably not be able to. With that said, this is where I left you off with in part 3 of this series, the nose. So let's finish that up, make it look like a real creature's nose or whatever. So the first thing I want to do is take this composite that we have. I want to create a boundary around it. And there it is. Where is it? Turn the model off. Yeah, it's there. Okay, let's move that to the crop level. Let's see if we can get that correct. All right, good deal. And there's a couple other things that you didn't see me do. I created this nose weld, and what this is for is let me tell you how I got there first. So I took these vectors and welded them together to create basically an outline here, and this is going to create the bridge of the nose a little bit more rounded, so it's not so pyramidal and faceted like this is. Okay. Does that make any sense? And the cropping vector that I just created, the reason for it is, see how sharp these corners are? I want to go into here and let's turn off the bitmap. Go into here and I want to put a fillet on these corners. And I made that a 16th. Excuse me, a 32nd. I'll do that. Zoom in. Zoom in here. Zoom in here. Zoom in here. Okay, so let's back out here, and we're gonna go into the componentry. We're gonna make a copy of this component. I'm gonna rename that cropped. And we'll work from that. Turn this one off. And what we're going to do is select that along with this cropping vector. We'll go in and discard everything outside of it. Now we have some nice round transitions right here. I don't know about transitions, but corners are smoother and not as violent. And then the next thing I want to do is make a copy of this. And we're going to address the nostril issue. And I'm going to call this nostril fade. And we'll turn off the other one. Turn back on these nose demo vectors. Back to top view. And I want to select this vector and this vector and crop that. Everything outside of those vectors goes away. Oop. Let's select the component. Try that again. And there, we've got it. So what's that componentry look like? We now have the cropped and boy, look at that. Must have some big nostrils there. All right, so easily done. This is a nice feature. We're going to take this to merge low. Merge low is a kind of a cool thing. It takes the two components when it creates this composite and finds the lowest Z height and goes with that. So let's undo that. We missed a step. We'll turn off the cropped one, and I want to go to top view, and now I want to fade this. Fade it right about here to, let's set it first, right about the center there to tip of the nose, and by default it goes to 50%. Let's see what that looks like. I think that looks pretty good. Could have been a little bit higher though. It's good enough. So if we turn this other one back on, and now we do the crop or the merge low. Now it's starting to look like something we can work with. Okay. Then what I want to do is grab this other vector we had, the ones I showed you of the weld. Is that on? Nose weld. And we'll select that vector. Turn off the model, makes it a little bit easier to grab. And grab black. And we'll go into create the rounded component, and we're going to call this nose bridge. And I want to give it 22 degrees. See what that looks like. Alright, so components back on. Now we've got some contours to it. Alright, let's apply that and close it. And we now have 3 visible models. We're going to take a copy of that. Create a copy of the visible models. Turn off the originals. And we'll rename this Nose Sculpted. Okay. Top on. A little bit better than the other thing. So we'll turn on the bitmap again. And my first focus is, if we turn off the component, is these flares right here in the nose. You can see how sharp our cropping did before when we cut the nostrils in the caves. So let's get into that, turn off the bitmap, and we are going to sculpt this component. And we're at 100%, or 100 units of strength. And the size of the working area, or sculpting area, is at 261. Not bad. Let's kick this up a little bit. And let's break these hard edges. And just go around the whole model. Like I did earlier, I'll talk the basics of it, and then I'll go to town and won't talk too much about it, but I'll put it on hyperspeed so you see my moves, but you don't have to deal with every inch of mouse movement or sculpting. So let's go with that. We'll be back in a little bit. Okay, this is what we've got so far. And a little funniness right here, where it transitions. What over there? Let's take a look at that again and see if we can clean that up. You don't see it as well as you did. I don't see it as well as I did before in the non-sculpting window. But you know, here's what it is, and we'll mess with it. Toggle back and forth until we get it right. Sculpting, modeling. It's try this, try that. And reassess. A bit more on this side. Alright, try that. Not as bad as it was, but could be better. Let's see, can we ease that transition a little bit? See how that shadow right there in here? Let's try to get that transition a little smokier. Too bad we can't turn on the bitmap and actually turn the bitmap to see how that looks. Alright. Take a look. It looks better. This side looks pretty darn good. Seems like a little ridge right there. Maybe a blending of here. One thing about sculpting, you can spend hours and hours. At some point in time, you're going to need to say, that's good. I'm okay with that. Let's take a look. What happens if we put the skin on top of that? It's looking like a nose, isn't it? Turn on a bitmap, see how that looks. I'm okay with that. Let's turn off the skin. We'll make a copy of the component into the clip art folder. And we'll call this Sasquatch Nose. Okay, so back to the face, and what do we have here? Nose assembly. No. We have the head. Now what do we need to do with this head so we can start bringing all of our components together? Well, we're missing the eyebrows. And let's see, we're not filtered, so let's get rid of nose crop vectors. Let's turn on the cheekbones. Let's turn on the beard outline. Eye sockets. Head vector. And eyebrows. Where's the eyebrows? Right there. And what about the whole outline? Okay, these are the things we need to still work on. First thing I want to do is make the head a little bit more of a complete thing. I want to add the eyebrows. I'm going to add the cheekbones, and then we're gonna subtract the eye sockets. Make a component, a composite of that, and next thing we'll do is build up the base for the beard, and we'll add another base for the. You'll see. We'll tilt that. Okay, so over here, let's turn on our vectors. First vector I want to do is eye sockets. And where are we in the component tree? Alright, so we're under face components. What's this head sculpted look like? That is the eyebrows edition. What about this one? Yes, we did smoothing of it. So what's wrong with that? smooth, so we know what we're talking about. At least we can assume we know what we're talking about. Alright. Back to design. Select our vectors. By the way, we could have gone up here and said eye sockets. Select vectors there. It's a nice quick tool if you got a lot of vectors to pick. It's a nice quick tool that gets what you need. So we're going to create a negative. We're going to put it in the subtraction mode, and we're going to add eye sockets. And what did we go? 33% before? Let's see what that looks like. Alright, good enough. Apply it, close it, and no base height, we just want it to transition from there. And now we're going to grab these eyebrows and we're going to create a rounded component again. We're going to call these eyebrows. And we'll give it some height. If you look at the bitmap, this is pretty pronounced. That's over 33%. So let's give it, say, 41%. And what does that look like? Bitmap. We gotta just assume. We'll apply that and close it. And we will now pick the cheekbones. Let's do this. Let's go back into cheekbones, select vectors, and we will create another rounded component, cheekbones. And we will not give it 40-something%, we'll give it the 33%. Let's see what that looks like. Alright. Close. Turn off our bitmap. And we're getting something. Alright. Let's go back into components. Cheekbones. Head smooth. What all do we have on this active vision? So, we're going to now create a copy of the visible model. Turn off the originals. And we will name this Head Component. Composite. Okay. Make a copy of that. Rename that Head Sculpted. And turn off the original so we can always return to it. Now let's turn off our vectors. Let's go back into our sculpting of this. We will now crank this down quite a bit, and the size of our working area is there. So 62. Zoom in here. Get in here and just blend these together. Remember that smoky transition? Let's do that. We are still in view. Light follows viewer. Okay. Blend these together. I'll make it sort of look like there's a skin over it, so you can't really see the bones themselves, but that skin draped over it. And have a feeling for the presence of it underneath it. So here. Okay, there is our new head. This is where we're going to start throwing all those other components onto it. There's a little bit more foundation work to do. We've got the head. We also have this skin. But we need to build the beard, and we want this transition to not be so sharp. So I'm going to create a sub beard area around here. That will be this vector beard base that will create and tilt, and then that will make it look, it'll flow a little bit better. But I'm going to wrap this up at this point in time, and I'll try to knock it out in the next video. No promises. I just don't want to go too fast and take too long. Thank you for watching, and hope you're getting something out of this.